Hello and welcome to my channel. In this episode, I am discussing basic principles associated with electrochemical and electrolytic cells. Now, you would ask, what is so important about discussing principles of electrolytic or electrochemical cells? Now the redox part of electrochemistry chapter is based on the principles of electrolytic and electrochemical cells. So don't you think that is important? So to understand the principles of electrolytic and electrochemical cell, let's meet after a short break. Welcome back. Let's discuss the basic principles associated with electrochemical and electrolytic cells. Now the redox part of electrochemistry chapter is basically containing two types of principles associated with the concepts as well as numericals. The first is electrochemical cells or galvanic cell or voltaic cell, and the second is electrolytic cells. The first part, electrochemical cell, as the word suggests, electro and chemical, it is basically splitting into two different words. Electro stands for electricity and chemical stands for chemicals. So when we produce electricity using chemicals or the chemical substances, if chemical substances can be converted into electrical energy, the processes that are dealing with the conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy are considered in this electrochemical cells. The electrochemical cells work on the principle of redox, and you are aware that redox is basically a reaction in which reduction and oxidation reactions are occurring simultaneously. If I just circle the words, this red means reduction and ox means oxidation. So a reaction consisting of reduction and oxidation reactions would be termed as redox reaction. So just summing up, on your screen you can see the definition of electrochemical or galvanic cell and the principle it is based on redox, definition of reduction and oxidation. You can pause the video, jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. So now let's see how redox reactions can be classified. So now redox reactions can be classified into two different types. First is direct redox reaction and second is indirect redox reaction. So there are two types of redox reactions. So now let's see first what is direct redox reaction. Now in direct redox reaction, both reduction and oxidation reactions occur at same place and there is no conducting medium or a wire required for transfer of electrons. Then such a reaction would be termed as direct redox reaction. Now let's try to elaborate this one. So say this is a beaker, and in this beaker I have taken say nickel sulfate solution, and nickel sulfate solution would be green in color. So this is nickel sulfate solution, and in this nickel sulfate solution, say if I stir this nickel sulfate solution with a aluminium spatula, So this is say aluminum spatula with which I am stirring this solution. So what would happen? Would a reaction take place? So now aluminum is more reactive than nickel, and I would be discussing electrochemical series in the future videos. So the reaction that would be occurring is nickel sulfate plus aluminium is giving nickel solid plus aluminium sulfate. So now if we see how this is a redox reaction, so oxidation state of nickel would be +2, oxidation state of aluminium would be 0, and you have studied in 11th this the oxidation state of nickel here would be 0 and oxidation state of aluminium is +3. So now nickel is converting from +2 to 0, so it is decrease in positive valency, so this would be reduction, and aluminium is converting from 0 to +3, isn't it? And there is increase in positive valency by +3, so this is an oxidation reaction. So a reaction, this is a reaction in which both reduction and oxidation reactions are occurring simultaneously, and because this whole reaction is taking place here only and no conducting medium is required, basically what is happening, this aluminium is coming into the solution as aluminium ions and nickel would be separating out from the solution. So slowly when we will stir this solution, the green color of nickel sulfate would disappear and it would be like aluminium sulfate solution, which is colorless solution. The green color of nickel sulfate solution will disappear. This is a direct redox reaction. So to sum up, on your screen you can see the definition of direct redox reaction with an example of the same aluminium and nickel sulfate placed in a beaker. You can pause the video, jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. The indirect redox reaction part is very important as per understanding the core concept of electrochemistry chapter. So on your screen you can see that I have taken a beaker filled with zinc sulfate solution and a zinc rod is dipped into it. Similarly, on the other side I have taken copper sulfate solution and a copper rod is dipped into it, and these are connected through a wire and a bulb is connected to check the continuity of the circuit. Now in this, zinc being more reactive than copper, zinc will go into the solution, and as zinc goes into the solution, so the oxidation reaction that would occur, it would be zinc is converting into zinc +2 ions and it is giving 2 electrons. Now these 2 electrons would these 2 electrons would flow in this direction and it will come to the copper electrode. Now because copper electrode is accepting electrons, so the reaction that is occurring would be copper +2 ions +2 electrons would give copper solid, and the copper would get deposited on this electrode. So this reaction would basically proceed for say few seconds. This is because when the reaction is proceeding, the zinc ions are coming into the solution. Before that we have taken say 1 molar zinc sulfate solution. Now number of zinc ions and number of sulfate ions at that point were same in number. Now as the oxidation reaction has started, the zinc ions pour into the zinc sulfate solution, so this solution becomes a positively charged solution. Likewise in copper sulfate solution, when we have prepared the copper sulfate, number of copper ions and number of sulfate ions in the solution were same, isn't it? Now what has happened? The copper ions have deposited as copper, so sulfate ions are in excess. So now number of sulfate ions in the solution are more, so this solution would be now negatively charged solution. So because of this scenario, the electrical neutrality of both the solutions is not maintained, and the current would stop flowing in the circuit. The electrons were flowing from this to this direction, and conventional current would be flowing from copper to zinc, while electrons are flowing from zinc to copper. So the current would stop. So now to maintain the cell working, we add a salt bridge into this solution. Now salt bridge is a saturated solution of potassium chloride. Now we take saturated solution for 2 or 3 reasons. The first reason is that the concentration of salt bridge should not dry before the concentration of these 2 half cells dry off. So this is the first condition, and second is it maintains the electrical neutrality by supplying the ions. Now in this I have already explained you that zinc ions are in excess. So now what happens? The salt bridge provides chloride ions. So chloride ions flow into this zinc ions or zinc sulfate solution to neutralize the excess of zinc ions. Similarly, in this solution, potassium ions flow and maintain the neutrality of this solution. So overall neutrality is maintained. As soon as overall neutrality is maintained, the current again starts flowing into the circuit, and the bulb will constantly glow. So what we are doing in this whole process, we are converting chemical energy to electrical energy, and this is why it is termed as electrochemical cell, because the chemical energy stored in these chemicals is converted into electrical energy. Now all the batteries which you are using, it may be your mobile battery, it may be a battery in an inverter, it may be a battery in a wall clock, or it may be a battery in a remote control. All batteries function on this principle. So this is the basic principle of electrochemical cell. So to sum up, on your screen you can see the basic principle of electrochemical cells and the importance of salt bridge. You can pause the video and jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. You have seen the basic principle associated with the electrochemical cells. All the electrochemical cells work on the principle of indirect redox reaction, and thus they are converting chemical energy into electrical energy. So just summing up, on your screen you can see the principle associated with electrochemical cells and different types of electrochemical cells that are used. You can pause the video and jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. Now let's try to understand what is electrolytic cell. So electrolytic cell as the word suggests, electro means electricity and lytic means fission. So a cell in which fission of a chemical substance is caused by passing electricity would be termed as electrolytic cell. Or in other words, I can say that a cell in which electrical energy is used to produce a chemical energy, that would be termed as electrolytic cell. Now on your screen you can see a electrolytic cell. Now this electrolytic cell is filled with molten sodium chloride, and it is fitted with a positive electrode and a negative electrode which are connected to the battery. Now when battery is turned on, the electrons will flow towards this electrode. As electrons are flowing towards this electrode, So now it becomes electron rich electrode. So now in molten sodium chloride, sodium ions are electron deficient. So these sodium ions move towards this negatively charged electrode, as a result of which a reduction takes place at this electrode, and so this electrode is termed as cathode. Now in this electrode, it is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. So now chloride ions in the solution are having excess electrons. So chloride ions move towards this positively charged electrode, and they get oxidized and release their extra electrons, as a result of which the oxidation reaction takes place at this electrode. Thus the products formed due to oxidation and reduction reactions, they can be written as, at cathode, sodium ions are absorbing electrons and they are forming sodium solid. At anode, chloride ions are getting oxidized. So it is chloride ions, they are turning into chlorine atom plus an electron, and two chlorine atoms can form chlorine gas. So these are the products of electrolysis. So as I have told you that in this reaction, we convert electrical energy into chemical energy, and we are producing sodium metal and chlorine gas as a result of passing electricity into the molten sodium chloride solution. So to sum up, on your screen you can see definition of electrolysis and the products that are obtained at anode and cathode, and how we decide anode and cathode in the electrolytic cell. You can pause the video, jot it down, or you can take a snapshot. This was all about the basic principles of electrolytic cell and electrochemical cell. If you like to be connected with us, then you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, then please do subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get an instant notification. As a student, it's always advisable to practice more, isn't it? If you want to score well, then you have to practice well. If you want to have practice of numericals or test, then you can follow the link which is on the top of your screen to get tests, assignments, and other material which is required to score well in examinations. And thanks for watching the whole video.